don't we start us off?
I'm gonna take off because this is something that's been passionate and near and dear to my heart for many years. And that is about purchasing a house in Europe, specifically Italy. And I have to say, I think this is what kind of started our podcast, because everybody we talk to and meet want to know the information and how we did it. So I think this is like a good one. Okay.
Yeah, so, this hits right at home. No pun intended. No, didn't work on this one. All right, so let's get into it, because I know this is something that we have a lot of information on.
We have a lot of information. Let's go.
So myth number 1, you have to be a millionaire to purchase in Italy.
Nope, you do not.
We're not millionaires.
No, we're not.
No.
And prior to me being a travel agent, I was a school teacher for 20 years, so it's definitely not a millionaire.
Yeah, actually, it's very affordable, and especially compared to U.S. home rates. The market has skyrocketed in prices in the United States. It's very difficult to purchase in the United States. What's great about Italy is that they maintain why is it?
I don't know,
the
but
thumb?
I liked it. It was to me.
Lord. The people can't see. There's a thumb in our AI camera. So basically the rates stay pretty consistent. Now, if you're in it to gain a lot of equity, we'll get into that. That's not the game for you.
When do we get into that? Like at what point? I don't see that in the notes.
But we'll talk about it.
Oh.
But anyways, so I think you don't have to. It's very affordable. I think that's the bottom line, right? And even interest rates are low.
Oh my God, I keep getting thumbs up.
I know.
So yeah, no, it is affordable. So that's a good myth. That I think a lot of people think like, oh, you have a house over there, like, oh my gosh, but it was very affordable. What's the other one? I can't remember.
And I think that the affordability, though, is just to tap on that, is always look for places that are not hotspots, right? So if you go into Rome,
Florence,
the heart of Rome, Florence, all that, yes,
Milan,
you're going to get maybe U.S. prices. But if you go to where we purchase, which is Vicenza.
Just don't tell anybody. I don't want anybody to live there.
You're right. Retract that. Basically, it's a beautiful little town, but it's not a hotspot for tourism. And what you could get there, you're gonna get more bang for your buck, right?
Right.
So
myth 2 is about being a citizen. That you have to be a citizen to buy a home, and no, that is a myth. As a matter of fact, it's actually easier to buy a house than to buy a car. I do have my citizenship, but we did not use it to purchase our home, which I think we'll get to in a reason why after we go through the myths and how we, right? Is that what's on the schedule? So
yeah,
I'm assuming
it's on the schedule. It's myth 2 is basically, is it impossible? You have to be a citizen. No, I'm not a citizen. Shannon has the EU, but through Ireland. But we didn't even use that. We used basically me. So
we had to go in with the same nationality.
Yeah.
So either I could have bought it under my citizenship, or we had to buy it both as Americans, and we chose that option. And we'll tell you the difference, right? And are we going to explain that?
Yeah.
We'll explain what the difference was in a second.
Yes.
And then the last one is myth 3, and that's, what does it say? What did you put this thing on there?
Is it too
complicated legally? No, I mean, is it complicated? It could be, but if you hire a lawyer,
yes.
an Italian lawyer,
which I want to do a little shout out right now.
Yes,
to
our Italian real estate lawyers. That's
best.
Exactly who they are. They are the Italian real estate
like that's
lawyers.
Their name.
They have their own podcast, by the way.
Yeah, which we're gonna tag.
That's how we found them.
Yeah, we're gonna tag them in everywhere we post this because
they're amazing.
We completely love them.
Yeah.
They made it easy. If we didn't go through them, I think that myth would be
have been complicated.
A real fact. That myth, it would have been complicated because we don't know. We don't know the legalities of it. Those, there's a lot of nuances.
The language.
Yeah.
Even any law, verbiage and language is going to be complicated. Imagine being in another language. And we don't have the rules and regulations here in the States as if they do abroad, which we'll get into, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we're just gonna break it down. We just wanted to break down the myths, and so that's that. So again, please, Italian real estate lawyers. We're gonna tag them. Look at it in the captions. Down below. If you need their contact, please leave us a comment, send us a message, and we'll get in contact with you with them. They are amazing.
Yeah.
But I think so. Just to kind of recap our experience, we were terrified, right? We wanted to make a right choice. We're not millionaires, we're not rich, but we did have some capital, and we wanted to invest and wanted to do it the right way.
We wanted to make sure we did it the right way. We had been looking prior pandemic, but then during pandemic, we had a lot of time. And so that's when we decided to make the move. Originally, we had another town that we were dead set on. And then when we actually went and to look at the homes, we realized this wasn't the town that we wanted anymore. So what had happened was we decided to contact the Italian real estate lawyers. That's actually who they are. That's their name. And they work with specifically expats to buy and purchase homes abroad. And so we found them. The price that they gave us was amazing. It was a flat rate, and we couldn't have asked for more. They do all the translations, but most importantly, what we loved about them, they said, here are these websites. One of them happened to be Immobilier, IT, and the other one was, what is it? Oh, Idealistica. IT. Yeah, Idealistica. And you could do that also too in other parts of Europe. They're not just Italy. And so they said, find all the places you want, send them over to us, and then we're going to weed out the ones that are not going to be good for you guys. Meaning maybe they have a lien, maybe there is a lineage, which we found out, which that happened to us, that is attached to the home. And maybe some of them are not disclosing information, but the lawyers work directly with the property owners and their realtor, so that we're not paying extra prices and or getting ripped off because we're Americans, right? Yeah. So that's why we went through with them. We sent them, I think, over, I want to say like 80, maybe.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot. He would send like 20 a day. I would send like a 20 a day. Yeah. And then at the end of the week, they would send back. They had already gone through all the properties and sent back which ones were available and were worth even looking
us
at.
Considering it, yeah.
And then this is the scary part, because we're from the States where you see a property and you put a deposit on and you're like afraid that you're going to get outbidded or someone's going to buy it from underneath you. That was not the case. We started looking at properties, I want to say in the summer. September, we started making appointments, and I'm thinking, we're not going to be there until November. Like, these properties are going to be gone. Nope, we got to see, I think, like 25 or 30 different apartments and homes in Italy.
So on that note, though, I will say, because we did try doing it even without lawyers at one point after our first experience, and we were going to go back to using lawyers because it's just so much better. What's great about it is that when you search and you go through a real estate agent, they have competition with other real estate agents, and sometimes they don't want to share, the profits, right, or the percentage. Going through a lawyer, what's great is that they contact the listing agent, and that listing agent is the only realtor on record. So there's no competition. I don't know if that makes sense, where they just deal with the lawyer. The lawyer doesn't get a percentage of the sale. They get the whole percentage. And thus, you're able to see and access more properties that you won't if you go just strictly through a real estate lawyer, a real estate agent. Sorry.
We were trying to purchase a second one, and we were doing it quick and what have you, and we tried to go just contacting a local agency, and they didn't want us to use our lawyer, and we didn't understand why, and we realized that they were adding more price and not allowing us to see the properties that we actually wanted to see, and so they were trying to pull a fast one. So go through your lawyers. It doesn't hurt to pay that extra fee for a peace of mind, right? Because this is an investment,
and that fee is not big.
It's not big
at all. And if you think about, again, I think actually the notary, what they call a notary, which is really almost like a loan agent, I guess.
They're kind of like a mediator to make sure. Mm-hmm. And they blatantly told us this the day of our signing of our house, saying, We want to make sure that the banks and that the person who's selling the house and the listing agent doesn't try to make it higher. So they're kind of like the middle person. So let's say, you were purchasing a house, somebody outbid you, but you already were given that price. Nobody can outbid you. And they purposely said that they control this so that there is no like what do they call it? The bus that we had with the big thing that we had with the houses and all that here.
Oh, the crash.
The big crash, right. Yeah. So they're saying that we control, so nobody can outbid. So if you're looking for an investment, like, I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to turn it over in 2 years and make X amount of money. This is not the place to do it.
And you can't use the equity which first of all, you're not going to get a lot of equity built up because the costs don't shoot up because, again, they try to protect the locals, right? Affordability, unlike here in the States, unfortunately. But also, you don't even have to be a citizen. You're able, if you have the financial backing, means
just like here.
Yeah, you're able to get a loan over there. But what's great is that 3% interest rates for those loans. So you put down 30% of the value of the home. They give you a loan for 70% at 3%. It's a steal. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And they don't work with equity. So if you don't have the money or the means, they just, they're all about making sure and protecting that nothing goes into foreclosures.
Yeah. So I think the best thing that we're going to do is probably mix it up, buy more property in Italy, obviously, because we love Italy and the ease of it. But I think maybe buying another one or two here in the States, because here we could play with equity, right? And if we have a lot of equity, we could reinvest in those properties down there.
So I want to say this really quick. The difference of being a citizen and not a citizen was only a percentage. So you only pay a one-time tax on the home, on the purchase of the home. So if I would have bought it with my EU, it would have only been 3% one-time tax on the home. But since we wanted to buy it together, we had to both come in as Americans, and it was a 9% one-time tax. We don't pay taxes on the home each year. We just pay
like the municipality tax and all that, which I think came out for our situation.
Like $400.
Yeah, it was nothing.
It goes by per person who's on the deed.
And we have, and also insurance. Right,
500 for the year.
500 euro a year. Again, we have a flat, right? We have an apartment, but I'm sure if you have a detached home,
to store, it's big.
Yeah, so it's pretty big. So I think there's a lot of benefit, tax wise, cost wise, to really invest in Italy. And if you're going
but don't say like it's good invest. It's like good, but you're not gonna get like it's not like
investment if you want to purchase a home in Italy.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to live in Italy, it's awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So and if you do, please go to the Italian real estate lawyers because that's a plug. They're amazing. We love them, and they're going to be
talk
our
to
lawyers.
them. So
yeah, they're going to be our lawyers forever. So that was a great first segment. That was passionate. It was one of our longest first segments, but it's because we're passionate and we have a lot of information. Again, if you guys want more information on this, feel free to send us comments, send us a message, and we'll be more than happy to help you. That's what we're here, not only for travel, but for inspiration for you to live your best life as an expat.